Hello, welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we're going to play a Primal Amulet control deck. Brought to you by Twitch subscriber Kuntz, who requested that I play it on the channel. He says that Jeff Hoogland also played it, a popular streamer and MTG Star City Games circuit competitor. I don't know if that means Hoogland created it or Kuntz did, but I'll just mention both their names here. And right away I'm looking at a hand with some sweepers and a cantrip and 3 lands. Seems like a good keep even if we're against an aggressive style deck. We'll open with the island. It makes both of these enter the battlefield untapped, so that's an easy selection. And I like getting really deep in the deck as quickly as possible, especially at sorcery speed, and try to find lands. But the search for Azcanta is an excellent thing to see, to go with these sweepers, as we can buy time for it to do more in the game. Our opponent's going to play a Goblin Instigator off red and black. Perhaps it's the sacrifice deck that I know you get pretty early on in the game. I guess we'll see what all our opponent has cooking. But we'll get the search online, we'll take some damage from the goblins. And more goblins, holy cow. And our opponent only has 2 lands. Well, 3 lands. We're gonna have an interesting choice coming up. I'm gonna keep this card, as the life gain can help get me more time. I would rather not settle the wreckage on my opponent this early in the game. And the reason for that is I don't want to give them a bunch of lands to turn the rest of their hand on. They seem to be hitting their drops okay, but I still want to use Revitalize to buy some time, and Radical Idea to get deeper, and use Cleansing Nova, especially since it's also sorcery speed and I like to hold up instants later in the game. Our opponent has a lot of small bodies in this red-black deck. I'm curious where it all leads, what the payoff is. Let's revitalize ourselves, have our energy drink. Another search is not really what we're looking for, but we do have Radical Idea to discard it. Another Radical Idea. So many Radical Ideas. Definitely need the land, so we'll keep that on top of the library. Play this out. Say goodbye to your tiny creatures. And we'll have the opponent start over with rebuilding a board presence. The current graveyard is at 4 cards. The Doom Whisperer is on the battlefield as a scary card. Mr. Tickles, though, I've heard him said. Land on the top is great. It lets us play our Radical Idea and use Settle the Wreckage. So using those cards together. Let's see how the opponent wants to handle this. They didn't surveil with Doom Whisperer to set up their draw step. I probably would have. And we'll see what they've got here. Yeah, they're going to do a little surveilling before the Doom Whisperer exiles, but they have to remember the top card of their deck will change when Settle the Wreckage resolves if they choose to get the land. So we'll see if our opponent chooses to get this land or not. Also, they did keep a card on top, and they're not searching, so at least they were aware of that. I've seen many players make the mistake of surveilling, then searching, either with Assassin's Trophy or Settle the Wreckage. And we'll have a Radical Idea. Should give us enough to flip our search for Azcanta if we don't want our top card. And I don't. Got enough lands now, thank you. Alright, play this out. We could play another search, but I think I'd rather just discard it to Azcanta and have another card. As long as the opponent doesn't do anything to ruin our search for Azcanta. Some Stone Rain effect or Field of Ruin. And the card is Rekindling Phoenix, which is a decent threat. It is a mythic, excellent creature. However, I think it's going to be a little bit behind in this race. Let's go see if we can find a Primal Amulet or more card draw. And there is the Amulet. We want that well before we want the Nexus. We could save our spells to flip the Amulet faster. 1, 2, 3. That's almost there. Perhaps I will just save it and let it work with Amulet. Here it comes. We can try to flip it this turn, but I think that's a touch too ambitious. Might as well leave mana up. We can also play Settle here. Get our opponent's Phoenix. But really, I'm not that worried about it. We have such a high life total. Still, I think it'll flip the amulet faster if I do this, so that's the play I'm going to go for. Opponent's checking the hand, looking at the Phoenix. They're going to Lightning Strike their own Phoenix to save it from the Settle, which is fine. We don't take damage this turn. The Phoenix will come back next turn. It's alright. The main thing is that we got another counter onto the amulet so we can flip it sooner. And our opponent with a second Phoenix, so maybe a more flushed out red-black deck than we might have thought. Tokens and mythic creatures. I don't really want to discard any of these right now. I think they're exactly what I want in my hand. So we'll play Ritual of Rejuvenation. Gain that life, power up that amulet. I'll play Revitalize. I'd rather use these to get deeper in the deck after I transform the amulet. We'll play the land. I suppose I can go looking for cards now. If I get another amulet, I'm going to want to play it this turn. So we'll copy the Anticipate. Take a Discovery Dispersal, and a Radical Idea. We have 6 mana, so we can play the back half of this and an Opt if we want to. Alright. I think if I'm going to play the Opt anyway, I'll do it now. It might change what I want to do with my play. And we'll save the last one. I suppose I can do this now in case my opponent for some reason only attacks with 1 Phoenix. No, that makes sense. We'll just say sure. None of that is too much to worry about. That's all too fringe. And we'll play Dispersal. Opponent will pick up one of the Phoenix, discard a card. We'll take 4 instead of 8. Buys a little bit more time as we work on drawing our entire deck. Just get all the good cards into our hand. And it's back. Let's go for another round of look at my top 6 and pick 2 for 2 mana. Chemister's Insight, sure. And there is another amulet, which I suppose I should start working on so I can win the game. And we'll get that cooking. But I'll also threaten the Settle the Wreckage. Our opponent's already seen a few of them. They might decide to play around it. So we'll keep this going at instant speed. Our opponent playing good fair magic while we play combo off crazy magic. Often a bit of a mess in the works. Torgar. Woo dog. Oh my. Well, that puts the pressure on. We gotta go off right away. Do I search with Azcanta? I suppose I still have an Opt and a Radical Idea. I'll start with the Radical Idea. And since I need to have this flipped, I should probably just try to go off right now. Let's do an Anticipate. Well, maybe we want to save the Anticipate because it gets us the deepest in the deck of the cards. Alright, let's do the Insight. There's a Chromium. We could flash back a Radical Idea. Guess that's fine. Rather than play the Anticipate or the Opt. The Opt is... It always costs 1 mana, but Anticipate's cheaper while this is flipped. There's a Ritual. Oh, we can gain a ton of life. That doesn't sound too bad. Let's use this to get the flip, since we have a discount on it at the moment. And now if we find... If we find Nexus, we're in great shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have 4 left over. So I'll take the card that digs deepest for Nexus, but if we don't find something else to use our mana on, we will wellspring some Rituals of Rejuvenation. There is the Nexus. And this might draw a concession, but let's go find out, shall we? Nexus copied twice, 3 turns, all to ourselves. Shuffle them up and deal. And with that mana left over, I'll go for an Anticipate. We'll work on finding another Nexus. And we did. Sort of too easy. But here we go. Shuffle them in, shuffle them in. So 5 turns after this one all to ourselves. So we just have to play Chromium and win. So yeah, let's go ahead and have a Ritual because we can. Don't even need this. Redraw Nexus of Fate. Let's pass the turn. We'll play out the Chromium. Search for a card. Nothing. Strict bricks. Alright, I guess I'll just duplicate this a few times. So some life, some more cards, just for good measure. But all we have to do is untap and attack with Chromium a few times, so I'm probably not going to play any more spells. I think we already have enough turns. I could play the Nexus just to be sure. And yeah, might as well be better to be safe than sorry. It would be sad if my math was so bad that we didn't have enough Nexus turns to win. But now I'm certain we do, and the opponent is too. They're going to scoop it up for this one. So you saw a good percentage of the deck. We can get in and look at it really quickly. Go over the cards and such. The win con and the only creature is Chromium. The Discovery Dispersals to go with the Radical Ideas, Anticipates, Revitalize, Rejuvenation. Opt, just go through the deck super fast, get a Primal Amulet and play it. Then Nexus of Fate, copy that, or just win with Chromium if you're up against control and they won't let you have your Primal Amulet. So it's definitely gives fits to midrange, gives fits to control. Hard to tell how it does against aggro. It was mentioned by the creator that it struggles with the aggro decks to some degree. So we'll just gear up for those kind of battles in the future. There's a sideboard over here on the side if that interests you. Mastermind's acquisition in the sideboard is a thing. I don't know why. But the creators, I'm sure, got their purpose. I don't play best of 3 often, so I'm not in the loop on it. But yeah, fun deck, especially if you just love tearing through your deck and trying to combo off. Let's get into the next game. Okay, this hand, we go first. Our lands are slow, showing the Black Spitlash is definitely not free because we have tapped lands, but I still think we try it. We have 2 amulets. We have Revitalize. And we're going to need to hit our land drops, of course. And it looks like we're going to get tested right away. Okay, that's convenient. Let's do a Discovery Dispersal right away. We need 1 more land and a lot more life gain. Well, when we bin the Nexus of Fate, we actually don't get our top card anyway because it reshuffles, which is something I learned the hard way. And we draw Revitalize. It's not a land. Hopefully our cantrips will get us to it. The Pyromancer's here. Yep, red deck doing red deck things. Better than a Steamkin. Steamkin's the really scary one that can come out that turn. Let's see what we find here with an Opt. Yep, another land. Do we need it anymore? We have 4 lands now. Now we need the right amount of cantrips, and right now we have 1, 2, 3. So we need 1 more cantrip. So that's what I'm going for now. Might be the worst draw I could have had. All right. And then I also have to decide if I'm revitalizing or not here. It doesn't look like my opponent's on a pace to kill me in time. They got the chain whirly. So how much is this? I'm at 13 and their attack is for 6. It could be 7 with this, and then 2 lightning strikes is lethal. So I better play the Revitalize. Better safe than sorry on this one. Draw, land, amulet. We're going to have to, let's see. It's going to be interesting. It's going to get interesting. Oh boy. A Cleansing Nova would be perfect. That is not Cleansing Nova. Alright, let's start here. Gets us the deepest. Start putting counters on this thing. We do hit another Discovery. So I can flip it and double Revitalize. I think that is a good plan. As far as plans here go. Oh wait, can I? Yeah, I have to save the white mana for last. So I gotta make sure I tap careful. There's a Settle the Wreckage. That is really fantastic right now. How about the Opt? Do I want anything to do with that? You can help with the flip next turn. Okay. And pass this turn. We've kind of got the sneaky hidden settle. Sneaky hidden Settle the Wreckage. Because we have 3 lands up. If our opponent doesn't know Primal Amulet's cost reduction, they might not think about it. Just shove with all their creatures. They're probably doing math of how to kill me, but I hope it involves the creatures connecting, and not 3 Wizards Lightnings. Ta-da! And they are gone. Now I feel like we got a shot. A real shot. Not a fake shot. There's some critters there. They're back. I'm not surprised by that. Okay. If we play second Amulet and then opt to flip, we can still Revitalize. Double Revitalize, of course. I think would I rather have the Opt or the Radical Idea? The Radical Idea has cost reduction right now, but it will next turn too. I think I'll just use the Opt instead. Remember, it makes a mana of any color, so it doesn't matter what I have open. And now we're looking for Nexus of Fate to try to wrap this game up, as well as all the life gain we can find. Now the question is, do I use the Revitalize in response to my opponent going for lethal? There's always the chance that once they untap and have 2 lightning bolts available, they can bolt me in response to the Revitalize. So I'm going to play it now. Double bolt me in response to the Revitalize, I should say, and sacrifice their Fanatical Firebrand. Okie dokie. Gonna need to draw a little more life gain, I think, to pull this one off. Down to 10. Lightning striking face. I'm afraid. It's all falling. And Frenzy. Okay, one more turn. Nexus would be fantastic. So I think I'll start with an Anticipate and just hope to find it right away. Nope, not there. What if I had a radical idea? There's a Ritual. That can gain a lot of life. I think that's where we need to be for the rest of this game. And we're at 7, so finding Nexus now is off the table. Supernova, I say Supernova, but you know what I mean, Cleansing Nova. Not quite it. Chromium, our opponent will probably just race around it or burn through it, so I don't think that's the right idea. So I will do like this and gain 12. And draw 3 cards. And the Frenzy might be able to do that much damage back in 1 turn, but it'll be a hot show if they do. Oh, we found another one. Well, that's something we can play if our opponent goes for like a lethal burn spell. Oh, they're gonna scoop? I wouldn't scoop it up with the Frenzy on the battlefield. I've seen Frenzy do an amazing amount of damage. But perhaps the opponent's frustrated with how long the game is taking. I can certainly relate. I've been there too. All right, let's try another one. We're up against a Bloodghast. Spooky, spooky, Halloweeny. Discovery, Insight, Nova on the play. I believe I can keep that. We have an early cantrip that will probably lead to more cantrips. We have Chemister's Insight to fill the hand up, and then Nova, of course, to clean up a mess. And this opponent clearly means to make a mess. Let's get Discovery. We need a second white source, so I'll prioritize that, but we don't need 2 of them. Yep, here they come. The kitties are here. So we're looking at Ritual this turn. We'll play it sometime during the opponent's turn. I guess they have a selection to make here. Might be influenced by how much life I have, who knows. And now that they've made their selection, I don't think anything else is going to change this turn, although they have a choice to make on attackers, which I'm sure they'll attack with both. The Aurelia is going to be a lot of damage. But we should be able to survive it and set up for the Nova. We also can start threatening that Settle the Wreckage that everybody fears so much. And I don't think I'll show them the Catacombs. People tend to expect Settle more when it's strictly blue-white than when it's Esper. So I actually want them afraid of the Settle. So I'm going to hide the splash for black. And they don't play the Aurelia. So that already saved us a little bit of damage. Perhaps they think counter magic is afoot. Let's Seems like they do. I'll go for an insight. Surely they intend to bolt me. And don't call me Shirley. There's a settle. Well, I guess if they're going to bolt me... I'll play this out now. They're not respecting Settle anyway. Nova, and then I can have Settle available next turn. Alright. Settle and Anticipate can go together. No bolts. Alright. They just literally took a turn off to respect Cleansing Nova. Okay. Well, buys us some damage, buys us more time. Primal Amulet. Do we play it out this turn? The only threat is the Aurelia. I don't have to exile that right away. I think we take the opportunity to put the Amulet on the battlefield. Here she comes. She hands out Trample. Craziness. Vigilance I get. Since when did angels trample? Not a lot of angels with trample. Small list. Did Chroma have trample? Somebody out there knows this off the top of their head. That card had so many abilities. Gonna tap like this in case we hit a Revitalize off the Anticipate. Wow. Alright, well, I'm glad to put them on the bottom. We've been navigating a flood this pretty much entire game. We will navigate it some more. I guess I can opt now because we could possibly, maybe, might find Nexus of Fate. I'll take that. It's a good card to have. And then we can have 3 mana, with 3 mana up, we can have Settle and Flashback Chemister's Insight available. And then Discovery can be Primal Amulet next turn. Alright, there's that Lightning Strike they've been hiding, been saving. It's gonna be a close one again. I think that's just the way this deck works. Close games. Aurelia thinking about what to target, going to target itself so it can mentor the Swiftblade most certainly. Alright, let's show them the writing on the wall with the Settle the Wreckage. So we could have a draw 4 with Chemister's Insight, or a scry 6 basically with the Discovery. And I think that this deck isn't about card quantity. I think it's about specific cards working together, which means I'd rather have the scry 6 than the draw 4. All right. Now we know what you're up to. Let's transform it. And let's have a big turn, shall we? Chromium's here. Chromium can't wait to ambush Vipe or something. But we can also Dispersal, and if we double our Dispersal down, it wipes out all of their cards. I'll show you what I mean in a minute, but it's pretty exciting. We can move those to the graveyard. All right, we did not find the Nexus, so we can, before our opponent draws, we want to go Dispersal. We want to make sure we do it this way. And what that will do is they have to return and discard both cards, which is gross, pretty nasty. And I'll play this Revitalize in case of, I don't know, Banefire off the top. Now we found the Nexus. And let's start the party. Opponent might be on the scoop plan. Could happen any second, and I wouldn't blame them. They're down to the absolute bare bones lowest number of resources, and facing double Nexus. And away we go. So ride the wave. So 3 turns after this one should be. Alright, Revitalize. Alright, 2 turns after this one. Let's go ahead and run out the Chromium. Our opponent's empty-handed, so we don't have to worry about anything happening to him. Or her. It. Him, I think. I was just doing the lore on Chromium where he's like sunbathing and tells Ugin and Bolas to go take a hike. I should know these things. Alright, pass turn. We still need to find Nexus one more time. To for sure lock it up. But the opponent's not going to stick around to see that. And that is gonna put a wrap on our Nexus Amulet deck. Thanks a lot to Kuntz for supporting the channel, subscribing, and for sending me this deck request. If you're interested in that, you can check out the links to Twitch and Patreon in the description. Patrons get to request decks, so do Twitch subscribers. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.